Ooh. Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey, chapter 125. It is the third day of the week, aka the Vampire Killer Workout. I am on my way to the gym right now and I'm feeling pretty good. Feeling pretty great, actually. It's also not disgustingly hot outside, so that is nice. I can actually live my life out here and not be dying half the time. But that is of no real importance. But anyways, so to the main subject matter for today, which you've probably already seen because of the title and or thumbnail, ghosts. Yeah, I know. It's very weird, very random, very out of left field. But I wanted to talk about it because of multiple reasons. But the first reason I'll go with is because me and my wife occasionally watch these scary video compilation things, you know, and they usually pop up, of course, always at night, but they always pop up, we watch them. Sometimes they're pretty funny, honestly, and our reactions to ghosts are very different, you know, in comparison between me and her. She is more combative against the ghosts. I personally am immediately get the fuck out of there, you know. I generally just wanted to talk about it because it's just something that is interesting to me, generally speaking. I think it's something that, you know, people occasionally talk about, but it's never really a serious subject, and I'm not going to make it a serious subject here either, honestly. It's kind of, you know, next level to not laugh and joke about, you know, ghosts or whatever. But I think I want to just talk more about, like, belief in them, Hispanic heritage making it so I believe in them even more so than probably normal, things like that, which just interests me generally. You know, we as Hispanic people generally see as the afterlife as something that you could possibly be stuck in, you know, the weird purgatory of being half here, half in the other side. That entire thing. But me personally, do I believe in ghosts? Why, yes, I do believe in ghosts. Am I stupid enough to get like a Ouija board and try to summon any do any dumb shit like that? No, I do not mess with that stuff. If it is nighttime and a place looks spooky, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna be like, oh, it's probably just something happening. You know, I'm not gonna explain it away. I'm not gonna fuck with it. You know, there's very few things that I just, nah, I'm good. And that's one of them. If like abandoned old places, haunted old places, you know, the possibilities of there being ghosts anywhere, I'm good. I'm just, all right, I'm leaving. Like, I'm good. I'm done. I've had my fair share of stories that I will probably go over in the voiceover that have happened to me. But generally speaking, I do believe in it. I'm not going to shit on anybody who does or doesn't, because realistically that's up to you and how you see your world perspective, and probably like it probably has intertwined elements with how you see the afterlife and all this other stuff, obviously. But for me personally, I do think that they do exist. I think that there are some things there's no other explanation for. Like, there are people who will try to explain it away via other things, and it's like, brother, you know, there are certain things that you just see this and you're like, no, there's no fucking way. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna go on the, like, every single video is real of ghosts or whatever and all that other stuff, because that is not accurate. There are a lot of videos that are just bullshit, let's be real here. But there are other times, I feel like more so in a personal anecdote, that I feel like people have experienced random weird things that are just unexplainable. And I feel like that is more believable than not. I mean, really, like, you know, you hear like a little thud at night and it's just like, oh, it's just something that you left on the edge of something that like fell off, but like, you're like, what? It could be ghosts, you know. It's always that little bit of me that always freaks out, like the oh shit, was that a ghost? It's not always a rational thought that I jump to for some reason, but it is a thought that I jump to a lot if I hear something, particularly at night or somewhere else. First it's ghost, then it comes back to, oh, it's probably something this or that. But thankfully, I don't live in a place that is, quote, haunted. There is that. There are people who have and live in places where they see freaky shit all the time, and or they just kind of deal with it. There are some people who have it follow them, which is a whole other thing. But the main reason why I wanted to talk about it is just because I wanted to hear your opinion on this subject matter, just generally speaking. Because if you do or you don't, I would like to know why, and either way. And I don't care if you do or don't, you know? If you do, great. If you don't, great. I'm not going to be judgmental about it regardless either way, because it is such a question mark of a thing where we you know, kind of truly don't know, and it's not like something that's, quote, studied per se. It all is just kind of up in the air. And I like these type of subjects where they're kind of up in the air, because really, it really just depends on you. Yeah, you could be super into it, super into ghosts, and like, you know, they're real and all this other stuff, and like, you know, be ghost hunters and all that other stuff. And there are people who are just like, nah, dude, this is all explained via physics or blank science or whatever. And it's just interesting. It's just interesting to me to like even hear both perspectives from it. But for me personally, yeah, they're real. And with that, I will see you on the inside. All right, so I start this day off with overhead press, which was pretty good. Got a bit out of this. So it's been a little while since this actually happened. A lot has changed in my life since I did this video. So yeah, that is kind of funny. I have to reflect back and think about some of these subjects, particularly this one, because I was like, it was very much on the mind when I made it. Not as much anymore, but not because I wouldn't want it to be. But I'll say this, ghosts, they, for me, exist. They aren't necessarily something that exists for everyone. I think it really depends, and some people change their opinions on them as time progresses. Either way, nothing wrong with it. I don't feel like there's really anything about it that's too crazy. It's neither too next level or like, you know, too stupid, if that makes any sense. Like, it's too in the middle to have like a strong opinion about it. Either way, I don't think like you're gonna be like, oh, you're stupid for believing in ghosts, or the other way around, you're stupid for not believing in ghosts. It seems like one of those things that you either do or you don't, and then you kind of just either move on or see what's going on. But people are generally nice about it in general. Before I continue, I want to talk about these neck curls. I had an issue with the plate running into the pad, which sucked, so I had to redo these, which I ended up doing in a different way, aka I just got smaller plates, so I worked out. I just wanted to mention that before I continued on, so that's why I had the question mark there. So when it comes to ghosts in general, I think there are two camps about it. There's probably a third of I don't care, really, but they don't really count. But to me, it's one of those things where either way, it is interesting to hear reasonings either or, you know, why they believe it and why not. For me personally, I just believe in it because I am Hispanic. One, that helps a lot. Hispanic people are generally superstitious like that, specifically when it comes to the afterlife. A lot of Spanish culture is intertwined with the afterlife, not even to mention like regional afterlife things. So for example, in like Mexico, you know, you have the Day of the Dead and all that other stuff. So that's not even getting into regional effects of afterlife and all that other stuff. But even most of South and Central America are Catholic, so that also plays a role in it. But usually for me, I usually like to watch those scary videos, quote unquote scary. They're not really that scary. They're just things just kind of happen that is unexplained, you know? I like watching them a lot because a lot of the time you can tell like some of them, you know, nothing too crazy. And then there are other times where you're like, okay, what is, and they're just fascinating to watch in that sense. Although there are people who probably watch it and think that it's all fake. And I'll be honest, there are times where I'm like, all right, this just seems like bullshit. And I'm not going to be one to disagree on that because there are some times where just videos are faked in order to get big, you know, whatever. I'm not going to be the first one to say that, oh, everything's real on the internet. No. But I feel like there are times in real life where you can just tell something's off. Like there's like a gut feeling. One day I'll talk about gut feeling, actually. I need to write that down. Sorry, man. Like you can tell that something is wrong in a place if you go somewhere. You can tell something is off. I've never actually been to a place that I would say was cursed or not cursed, what's the other term? Haunted. I've not been to a place that's haunted. I don't want to ever go to a place that's haunted, but I've definitely been to places where it's definitely creepy and something is off on that. And I can tell a couple of stories real quick about some afterlife experiences that I've had. Not necessarily with me well, actually one was me, but actually both, never mind. I could talk about these two experiences because they're not very much I went into the afterlife, but I experienced some things that were kind of strange. Let's leave it at that. So I remember one time, particularly, there was a time I saw what looked like some type of like white entity go into my room, and I remember I was so like shocked by that. I couldn't tell, it could have been light, honestly, like my eye readjusting, but it looked like a person, and then he just flew into my room. And I remember I was so like shocked, like genuinely shocked, that I couldn't talk until I like grabbed someone, and I was like, I think I just saw a ghost, you know, like, and that's what we were discussing. And it had slight implications as well with what was happening in my household, because at the time my cousin was leaving to go to El Salvador, who lived with us at the time, and you know, there was a whole other incident that happened with him, which I'll get to in a second. But that's one incident that happened with me personally. Another incident that happened with me was one time. It was my father left to go to El Salvador by himself while me and my mom stayed here. And my mom and I heard knocking after he left in the middle of the night. It was like 3 a.m. because he left at like midnight. And I remember she was like, hold on. And then she went somewhere, and then she came back, and then the knocking stopped. And then she very much believed that it was, her mother, who had passed a long time ago, like knocking to ask us why. Why is my father going by himself to El Salvador and stuff like that, which is a very strange thing. And I think I'll leave it off on this story, which is the cousin that lived with me, who this happened in our basement, according to him, where he was one night sleeping and then got what was basically sleep paralysis, but then some black creature thing picked up his sheets and rolled them up and threw them across the room, which sounds crazy and is like kind of insane. Also, you know, could have been a dream, but he describes it as he had an old roommate that he would mess around with, and they would do that to each other to wake each other up. So it was something like that, and I believe that friend had recently passed, like within like the week or so of that event happening. So I could kind of see that happening. Now, obviously, who knows if it wasn't just a dream or not, and you know, he freaked out during the dream. But still, there's a lot of little things like that that happen to a lot of people in the world that you just can't explain away with like, he did it while sleeping. You know what I mean? It's just too simple. It doesn't seem like there is just that, you know? It could be. I'm not going to say it's not, but come on, something's up there. But before I go, I want to say this. I would like to know your thoughts and opinions about it. I know I said it already before, but I really would like to know. It is one of those subjects where it really is just like personal experience and how you grew up and a few things like that will really determine whether or not you believe it or not. It is just everybody, it's to each their own, basically, and I'm very curious as to why each person has their own belief, and I'm always curious about it, so let me know. So we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, none. Thankfully, almost skipped the last 2, but thankfully, right when I was packing up and ready to head out, the guy that was on it got off the machine. So I was like, all right, time to do it. So that was nice. But anyways, back to the main subject matter. So the main reason why I wanted to talk about this is just because they come up on YouTube videos. It's very funny to me, you know. It's a own subgenre of YouTube videos, movies, and all this other stuff. And it is just an interesting subject to me in general. It's nothing to take too seriously. I feel like if somebody was like, if you don't believe in ghosts, you're a fucking idiot. That's like, what? Come on, brother. Like, what are you doing? One of those conversation pieces that you can have with someone that can be fun and not necessarily too like you know, judgmental. You're not going to get too heated about it, you know what I mean? It is, and usually people have some type of weird story or like something they've heard from somebody else, and it's just an interesting thing. I always found it very fascinating regardless of that. So that's why I wanted to talk about it today. Something a little bit more on the lighter side than something heavier, because I've been doing occasional heavy things, occasional not heavy things. So I wanted to change it up a little bit and do something a little bit funnier, you know what I mean? Because some people find it as like whatever subject. So I thought it'd be nice. But anyways, with that being said, tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this, whether you believe in ghosts or not, or whatever, something in between. I would love to know your thoughts and opinions. Please let me know your thoughts on any of this, because I really, really would love to know. I am actually genuinely curious. But thank you very much for watching. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much again for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Peace.